If you march in this nation, you must pay. If you breathe in this nation, you must pay.
Alright, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. So the whole Kevin Smith. First of all, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. And then hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified every time a new video goes up on SouFLoTV. Now, the whole Kevin Smith thing, we're talking about the Mobay cult pastor Kevin Smith that passed away under those suspicious circumstances after trying to sacrifice a whole bunch of his church members, I would call them. Well, this is another follow-up to that. If you remember, there was a woman that was sacrificed at Kevin Smith's cult church, and she now gets an emotional send-off. So finally, they're having her funeral. This particular woman, before I read what the Observer said, this particular woman is the one who took out life insurance and put Kevin Smith as the beneficiary. She was the one who her co-workers said was stocking up on things, and now it came to light that it was Kevin Smith who was instructing her and others to stock up on certain things, right? To stock the ark, because they were going to leave on the ark and they were going to put everything they needed in the ark for their journey and all these things. She was very obedient to Kevin Smith, the Mobay cult pastor. She was so obedient to him, she truly believed that he was what he said he was. If you remember the witness's description before the law told that witness to stop talking because this is an ongoing investigation, so stop doing these interviews and whatever, that witness, a young man who was there, who was also shot that night but survived when the Jamaica Constabulary Force bomb rushed the place and saved all those people. Remember, that witness said when Kevin Smith called her forward to him, she went and she raised both hands in the air and she started saying, "Only you, God Almighty, only you." And Kevin Smith asked her, "Do you believe that I am God?" And she said yes. And she raised her hands and started screaming out, crying out, you know, church people doing at them, getting that spirit kind of thing. And then he decided to instruct somebody to cut her throat. He told her he was going to have to take her life and then he would resurrect her. And I remember the part where the witness said, this is an eyewitness who was there, he said he couldn't believe she just laid down and died. She didn't fight, and the only thing he heard from her was a gurgling sound. You know, if somebody cut your throat, you're going to be gurgling as blood gathers, right? And blocks your breathing apparatus. So that happened to her there. And now she is the one who was featured in the Jamaica Observer about having an emotional send-off. Listen, man, regardless of what, if she got caught up in this thing, right? She's somebody's child, and let's put it this way, we're not all too smart about every single thing. So we all fall short in some way. Her mistake just cost her her life, right? So Moore Park, St. James. It was a very solemn Thanksgiving service at Hillview Memorial Gardens here for Taneka Gardner, who was on Sunday, October 17th of 2021, killed during a ritual at Pathway International Kingdom Restoration Ministries in Albion, St. James. Now, if you remember, you will know that that was the name of Kevin Smith's organization, if you want to call it his church or whatever. She was remembered as a very hardworking individual who was on the cusp of ascension at her workplace. In other words, she was working her way up the ladder and she was about to get promoted because she was such a good employee. A lot of people spoke a lot of good things about her. Nobody had anything bad to say about her. Her family members were breaking down in this ceremony, filled with grief. missing her because she was someone who had a family. You know, oftentimes we think about people who join these things, these cults or whatever, and we think maybe it's someone out there who doesn't have a strong family support. Maybe, they're left out in the world by their self on their own. Parents have passed, that kind of stuff. They have no siblings. But apparently, that was not her case. She seemed to have had a well put together family. I don't know why she went off and made this decision. Listen to me. If somebody tell me about take out life insurance policy or if put them on my existing life insurance policy, big red flag. Pass red flag. I would get as far away from that person as possible. Right? So, I don't know how, but she was so trusting of him that, hey, she did it. Now, Gardner was an office attendant at Appliance Traders Limited in Montego Bay, and she was one of the three people that were killed in the bizarre ritual at the church that pastored by the cult leader Kevin Smith, according to the Observer, who was arrested and later died in that freaky accident we remember. And to this day, everybody still thinks that whole accident was a setup, because ain't no way that was just coincidental that he was now caught and getting ready to be taken to Kingston to face a judge where his charges would be read, and just like that he gets to die in an accident on his way. Nah, none of us are buying that, but that is what happened, right? So 42 members of the church were arrested after the police on their approach to the building were reportedly fired upon the day that Gardner was killed. The 42 were later charged with breaches of the Disaster Risk Management Act, but a senior member of the church is now before the court on murder charges. That senior member is the one who cut her throat, and he admitted so far to law enforcement that he did obey the orders of Kevin Smith and he did slit Gardner's throat. Madness. Now, during Tuesday's funeral service, Makeoff Johnson, Gardner's distraught brother, he broke down in tears and he could not even complete the remembrance that he was named on the program to deliver. He just could not contain himself to get back to completing it. Now, they said that she was a nice person, very humble, very hardworking, and when we were kids, we had a lot of fun. Johnson stuttered before breaking down in a manner that he was unable to finish what he was listed to do. Now, Moya Clark, a niece of the deceased, also had to be comforted while delivering a selection of a song. A distressed sister, Shalina Gardner Clark, who fought hard to choke back the tears, also remembers her sister as a hard-working individual and one who never carried a grudge. I want to ask, where was her family? In death. And I'm not saying anything bad about her family. I don't know how close they are, but I'm saying in life, it's like this. People will spend a lot of money and drop a big expensive wreath, beautiful flower bouquet on your coffin, right? But if while you're alive, those same people, them don't even business with you really, It's just like them call your family and that's it. So you don't have anybody to really say lean on. You don't have anybody to really confide in. You don't have anybody that's really, really there for you. They just throw around the word family kind of thing. And I don't know if that's how her family was, but it seems like they might not have been as close in life as now, Now, not to mention, her life insurance policy still hangs in the balance, and her next of kins and whoever is supposed to be having interest in it are actually moving forward with trying to figure out how to get to it, how to get it to pay out, So You could never tell what she did because even if she was on the floor and a customer came in, they spoke about her, how she was able to help everybody, and you wondered like where she worked at. They said she was such a good person. Nobody actually knew what her real job title was because she was just a person that did everything, to include doing her own job very well. That's the kind of person she was. Now, me not gonna work, I'm gonna do nobody else's job, and I'm not floating around in any other department. You hire me to stock boxes, I'm coming to work to stock boxes, and I'm going home. That's what you pay me for, not her. She was all over the place, all in everything, and it was all about helping the people for her. And she also always encouraged everybody to give their life to the Lord and to go to church. I am happy for those who did not follow her to that place because you see what the outcome is. Now, delivering the sermon, Reverend Joseph Anderson of the Springfield Circuit of Baptist Churches said that Gardner suffered the consequences of being daring. She suffered the consequences, and I wonder how many of us are willing to take any risk to move out of our comfort zone, to go into a closer relationship with God. Some of us are quite content with where we are at with our relationship with God, is what the clergyman said. He said that when a person goes to church, it is something that they are expecting. Sometimes we say, why don't they stay with the tried and proven churches, which have been around for a long time? But some people are not satisfied with what we have set up as the normal established churches, and they're seeking more from God elsewhere. Well, I can tell you that she probably went to the traditional churches and realized all the BS that's going on in there, and she said there's got to be a better way. You know, if you ask people of her generation and younger generations, they're not too much into church anymore like they were once, because time has revealed all the follies that take place in church. You understand? And now church people will tell you, don't watch that man, just come and worship the Lord. Or they will tell you, you're at the wrong church, try a next one. But after you've been through a couple of them, you realize that, hey, they're all the same. So people go on to other things. And she unfortunately went on to something that cost her her life. Rest in peace to her. I am confident that there are more of these cults hanging around in Jamaica, and we will be hearing more stories in the future of other people just like her. Sad, but true. Weird, but true. I'll catch you on the next video with SouFLoTV, and again, my condolences to her family, and that's about all I can give. I'm out. Peace.